What's up, guys? Action activate. Pow, pow.
Oh, hey everybody, it's me, Gazbot, and I'm here for Action Activate. And if I am Gazbot, and this indeed is Action Activate, then with me as always is...
Oh, sorry, didn't see you there. I guess all eyes are on me now. It's the big dog, still the big dog.
Oof. How much did you get that guy for?
Back when I did, I either got him in a trade or for like $15 or $20.
I know. I saw him recently for like sub 10, I want to say, or maybe 11 at the most. Yeah,
Jeez.
and I passed. Well, okay. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
This is going to be a ramble, but it's mostly going to be talking about toys. Most of that Lightning collection. We know we're still doing Mystic Force. Just to clear that up, we haven't. Things got crazy behind the scenes. Then we had Once and Always, and just today we wanted to catch up on the Lightning collection stuff and a few other things because it's relevant right now, whereas the Mystic Force will still be relevant in a week or whenever we get back to it. So sorry for those that are waiting, but we will get back to it.
Yes.
But yeah, I saw Snizzard right now is on sale for $20 through Amazon, and I was very tempted because it's a cool looking monster and it's a good price. And I've seen iGuy for, I'll say sub 20 because I don't remember the exact price, but it was definitely, and a few others, and I've been not getting them. Partially, a big part of it is shelf space. As you can see, that's an issue for me. And also it's a thing where I don't feel a sense of urgency. It's like, oh, they were full price. Now they're on clearance if I ever want them. Even if they're not on clearance, I can get them on eBay or trade for them for very cheap. And now that they've made a bunch, for a while it was like, well, they might only make 3 or 4 or whatever. And now it's like, oh, these aren't like my favorite monsters or anything. They're just monster figures that are kind of cool. I can afford to be a little bit more choosy. And the last couple monsters that came out were not particular favorites of mine. And I know I can get them for cheap whenever I want, which is not a good way to support the line, but I'm just being honest.
Yeah, I think the problem, and going back to iGuy specifically, I haven't touched him in a while, but out of all of them, I would argue he is the best. The only issue I have with him, he just needs a black wash on here, and that's it. But like, this is what frustrates me. If you just look, let me see if I can say it. From here, you're like, oh, that's like a $60 figure. Look at all the detail.
The main eye does look awesome. And
like everything about this, it closes, it's great.
Yeah.
But it's
put all the budget into that.
Exactly. The accessories are cool
too. I was tempted. I was tempted by iGuy, to be honest, and Snizzard. Well, I was tempted by iGuy at that price, but the Minotaur is coming out now, and it's the same thing of like, he's not one of my favorites. And I understand Minotaur and Snizzard coming out because they were in the special, even though they were. I'd be more tempted with the Robo versions, to be honest. Just because I like robot monsters and it's like they're fresh. I just saw them,
Pudgy Pig might be my favorite out of all of these, actually, and I know you hate that design.
It's not my favorite. It might be my least favorite. And I have seen that for super cheap as well. And passed on it. Matter of fact, the only one. Let me see. I have
Pumpkin
Wrapper. I never got the deluxe Goldar. I have the regular. Well, wait. No, I do have the deluxe Goldar, but he was a regular figure back then, the one with the wings.
Correct.
So I have King Sphinx, Pumpkin Wrapper, and I'm forgetting his name. Prontus Head, is that his name?
Yeah.
And all 3 of them were bought sub-retail. And Pumpkin Wrapper specifically, I remember getting for like $9 or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, he could be a Halloween decoration.
He's an eventually for me.
Yeah. I had 2 Sphinx and I had 2 Pumpkin Wrapper, and I think I gave them away in giveaways or something like that. I don't have many more, but which kind of brings us to the new announcements that they announced. Character selection has been good. I don't have an issue with that. We've talked about quality control being not amazing and the closed box making that worse. Go ahead.
Touching on both those points, one thing I appreciated on the recent stream was they Hasbro overall has made an announcement that they're going back to windowed. Gee, I wonder why.
Because, yes, well, nobody liked it, and more importantly, sales dropped.
Yes, significantly from my understanding.
Yeah.
I have no numbers. I don't know anybody on the inside, but it was pretty evident when most Hasbro things in that state were just, going down. Because the thing is, like, and we talked about this when they talked about the Switch initially. I'm all for saving the environment. Don't get me wrong. I've seen, me knowing very little about this subject, I've seen enough where you can make plastic out of plants or out of other materials where the big part is seeing it. If I see a picture, it's like I may as well be looking at it online.
Especially when very often the photos are like digital renderings or have been like touched up to remove the joints and have like it's not even like a real photo.
Yeah.
So it's
you need to see somebody like this behind, and you're like, you know what? I need it.
Yeah. Yeah.
The immortal words of Bruno.
The way the Transformers did it with like sort of the open air half box. I don't love that, but it's way better than the closed box.
Yeah, I think the problem they were running into with that is lost pieces.
Sure. And well, then, I mean, again, we're no experts, but people smarter than us have said there are other ways to save money or the environment other than this. This isn't the way to necessarily do it. And I agree. And you'll notice all the other toy companies were like, us too. They were like, okay, have fun with that.
I think not knowing anything behind the scenes, I feel like the amount of money they had to spend on support was like so high. They're like, fine, whatever expensive thing we decided not to do, just do that. It'll end up being cheaper. We've learned the hard way.
One thing I'm wondering, because they said they're going to use some kind of better for the environment plastic, and that could mean a lot of things.
Yeah.
But one thing I wonder, and it doesn't affect me, but there are some plastics that are biodegradable or more biodegradable, let's say. And so maybe in 10 years they turn yellow or start getting funky or whatever, which I don't care because I'm an open box collector. But the idea that they lost a lot of inbox collectors, are they going to come back if that plastic is going to turn garbage in, a few years? I don't know. But are they going to come back having this huge gap in their collection of boxed figures they didn't buy? Yeah.
I feel like more people will come back than left initially. Or let me rephrase that. I don't think more people are going to come back like, yay, we have faith in it again. I think
some will come back.
Yeah, I think everybody who swore off forever that some number will not stay the same.
I agree with that. The other thing, well, okay, another thing I want to mention, but we'll wait till they get to that. But as far as character selection, I think they only announced 3 new characters and then more of the remastered Mighty Morphin, which I don't consider announcements because once they announced one, we knew they were going to do all of them. But TJ Red Turbo, awesome.
Yep.
The head sculpt is like okay, but whatever. It's Red Turbo.
Both accessories too.
Did he have both accessories?
He had the generic team sword, and he had his own red sword.
Okay, that's awesome. It probably won't be consistent throughout the team, but that's fine. And then it was RPM Yellow, right?
Yep.
Which is, she's cool. That whole team is good. She's not my personal favorite, but that whole team is good. And that's, again, we're starting that team. And then what was the other one? I'm blanking.
Lightspeed Blue.
Lightspeed Blue. Yeah, that's other than Titanium. That's the first Lightspeed we got, right?
We haven't gotten Titanium.
Titanium Ranger?
We haven't gotten Titanium Ranger and Lightning Collection.
Right. I mean Silver Ranger from In Space that we've gotten 2 of mixed up with the Titanium Ranger that we both have in our shelf but isn't Lightning Collection. That's what I mean.
Yep, correct.
Idiota. Stupido. That was just a brain fart. Sorry. And I love how I'm like, what do you mean? What, you fool? You fool. Clearly
do you have information that I missed? Like, what's going on?
Okay, so then this is the actual first Lightning Collection, which I wonder, nothing against blue, but I wonder if they chose blue instead of titanium or red or one of the more popular ones because, like, the figuring anybody that's excited about Lightspeed will get blue.
Yes.
And then later they're of course going to get red, but if red comes out first, some people might be like, well, that's enough. I don't need any more, maybe.
My thought process, and they've done this with some teams, and this seems to make the most sense. If I were given the control, this is what I would do. And I want to preface with, this is no disrespect to any Rangers, any actors or actresses, or anything like that. This is just generalizations. Okay. But if I were to release most teams, I would put kind of a middle of the pack Ranger, then one of the top half, and then go up and down, so that you're hitting all bases, and you don't have a thing where, well, I got all the ones I wanted at the beginning, and I don't care about these at the end. Where
that makes sense. Also, to build on that, if there's a team where there's like a member that's like your least favorite, maybe you hate them, maybe there's not your favorite, whatever. Once you have 4 or 5, the average collector is going to go, well, I might as well get, character I don't love because,
exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, like red and 6, I think, should be no earlier than the second release and no later than the 4th release of a team of 6.
Yeah, I can get with that. What was the new price point? Is it $24.99 for these officially?
I think it's that most places.
Well, I'm just double checking that was what because I forget, to be honest.
It's either that or like $26.49 or something close.
I mean, that's a difference. That's why I'm asking, because it might be more at different retailers, but like
it depends on where you go. I don't know what Target's is. I don't know what Walmart's is, but like big bad's usually around that, or like
Entertainer. I know I'm looking at the last wave. They were $24.99 announced.
Okay.
I see, because I'm saying different sites may go up or down, but usually Hasbro announces the price. So I don't know what the price. Let's assume it's $24.99, just like the last one. If it's not, it's like, oh my gosh, you got to stop with these hikes. So, but generally, these figures in many lines are about 25 now, which is unfortunate, but that's the reality we live in. But this comes back to, and you and I had talked about this with the like waiting until they go on clearance kind of thing, and you even linked a Spectre Creative.
No, it wasn't Spectre Creative. It was Nerdzoic.
Oh, Nerdzoic. You're right. Sorry, Nerdzoic talking about that exact thing. I think Spectre Creative has talked about it a little bit, but not to the extent that he called it playing like clearance chicken or whatever, which all collectors do. We've done, but I find myself doing that constantly now, because it used to be like, that's a character I like, I'll pre-order it or buy it at full price. That's a character that I don't really like, I'll wait and see. And then it was like, well, that's one of my favorite characters, I'll pre-order it, and then the rest I'll wait and see. And now it's like, I'll wait and see. Like TJ Turbo Red, that should have been an automatic pre-order, but I'm like, we'll see. And I've been rewarded for this. And again, I understand it's contradictory, because it's like, well, support the line, so they keep making it, but they keep hiking up the prices. The quality control isn't great. And when I was paying full price, because the pre-orders are like 6 months out, I pay full price, 6 months would go by, they'd show up in stores, and then a month later they'd be half price. And I'd be like, I get mine the same time as you get them in the store. So it wasn't like I had them early or anything even. It's like, just got it, it's half price. I could have waited a month. I'm not that guy that needs to have it the first day it comes out.
A prime example of this, and I think this is more of an isolated incident, but we'll use it as a real world example, is Blue Centurion.
Yes, that would have been an instant pre-order for me, and I didn't. And I'm like, I hope I wasn't wrong. And then Big Dog tells me
that it was $12.
Yep. So it's like you're teaching me weird lessons here, Hasbro. And I feel like, again, we're not business people, but it is that thing of like, if the prices weren't getting raised so much, I feel like things wouldn't be getting clearanced so much. Yes. You know what I mean? Like lower the retail a little bit, and I'll just pay that instead of waiting, because I don't feel like hunting it down and hoping I get it. Like I'd rather just buy it most times, if it's a figure I really want. But I literally, Blue Centurion was the turning point where I was like, this is definitely on a short list of characters I want, and I'm not going to buy it and wait and see what happens.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. And worst case scenario, I could have got it at retail, because the aftermarket isn't great on a lot of these, some of the earlier ones, but they're doing a good job of re-releasing them, and that's, kudos to them. But yeah, it's weird. I don't know what to do about it, because it's like, I want to support the line, but I don't want to,
there's
full price.
There's not a great kind of middle ground, I think, other than what you're saying, and I don't think they're going to do this. Is if the price was lower, there would be less hesitation.
Yeah.
And it would bridge the gap. And I'm hoping, now that they've fully acknowledged it, that it's a turning point of, we realized QC was bad, we realized this was bad, all this, that like there's a fix there. But there's one thing, and this is not defending Hasbro, this is just the nature of business.
Sure.
And these
I don't mean to attack Hasbro either. It's just, this is just
what's
going on.
Let's say 2 months ago, internally, they're like, everything is bad, we need to make a change.
Right.
We won't see that change until like
years.
Fall.
At the earliest, maybe for packaging, but like, anything else is, I think, I don't know if this was Nerdzoic or Spectre Creative, now that I think about it, but they were saying that like the summer movies that are coming out for Marvel and like all that stuff, that's all going to have closed box packaging still. Like anything that comes out through the summer, like we'll be lucky to see the open box by the end of this year, which is what you're saying. Yeah.
But again, I think that will hopefully help rejuvenate stuff. Because also, like, as of right now, if you look at, I'm going to use Target as an example, everything looks so great except for Hasbro.
Yeah.
Like, you look at McFarlane, you look at some old classified, which happens to be Hasbro, you look at wrestling, whatever. Even He-Man is one I know you, in a rare turn of events, I'm like, I have the He-Man I have from years back, I'm good. And you're like, yeah, me too. Except, well, never mind, I'm getting 2 of the newest lines.
Yeah, I've definitely gotten more of the Masterverse stuff than I planned on. But that's also a case where a lot of the Masterverse has been clearance. So like I think I paid full price. I don't know if I paid for one. Only for one I paid full price. All the rest I got deep discount.
But also, discount or no, I've seen you at least contemplate multiple times holding one and staring at the figure and going, this one's got good paint apps. This is this. I don't know. And Hasbro, you just look and you're like, oh, it looks like every other picture of a toy I've seen online. I'm like, what's the... And here's the other problem too, which we don't even really need to harp on too much, is when you see them in that box, you're like, I have no clue what's in here. It could be a bag of rocks.
Well, yeah, because people swap stuff out. Yeah, that's a whole nother issue. That's not Hasbro's fault, I guess, but it is.
It's an unintended consequence of it. Where
okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say I've seen multiple people talk about getting got like that. One example, a guy I follow who's semi-local to me, Unparalleled Universe, was like, oh, they got me. And he opened it and it was literally like nothing. It was garbage.
Ugh.
Just rattling around. And he's like, guess I got to return it and keep the cycle going, unfortunately.
Well, and that's what I've said, though, which I guess is taking the risk out of it in the moment and also taking responsibility to not continue the cycle. Not that I think your friend should be stuck with garbage, but to then send it out to someone else isn't the best idea either. I've said if you buy something and you have even an inkling that it might not be 100%, go to customer service and open it right there, because then they see, oh, okay. And then, whatever. That's in an ideal world.
But again, this is going back to, if you've already done steps 1 through 4, now that's your step 5. None of that is a good customer experience.
No, I agree. I absolutely agree with that. I'm just saying, like, with what we're at, all right, let me share this. This is just from Hasbro Pulse. So this is the most recent stuff. So they are $24.99 for the basic figures. So those are the 3 new ones they announced. And like, it looks like all the figures going back, somewhat recently. Oh, metallic is $27.99.
Yeah.
So, but meanwhile, they have the deluxe figure Rita for $33.99. She does come with swappable faceplates and stuff. I don't think she should cost this much since we know she mostly existed already.
Yeah.
That being said, I'm glad she does, and I will be buying her. I don't think I'm going to pre-order her, but I will pay full retail if I have to.
I'm on the fence because I have the wedding 2-pack now.
And I don't. And I've been waiting for this, and I'm definitely going to get her. I'm just, again, this is like, I would have previously pre-ordered her. Now I won't. Minotaur, $33.99 makes a little more sense because he's all new old. The thing that I want to talk about where we kind of disagreed is
this is the spicy one, everybody. This is one, it's very rare that we'll like strongly disagree on something.
Yeah.
And especially in the positions we're in, where I have my stance and he has his, usually it's reversed. So this is for those that like watching us argue. Let's go.
Let's start with the good. Okay, so they're doing the remastered. Whatever you think of that, I don't actually have a problem with that because I have all but one of the originals. I have the green Fighting Spirit Tommy, but otherwise I have all the originals. And so I don't need them. I could get them if I want the upgrades. And then people who missed them, again, it's a way that they could get them. And it's a little more expensive, but they got extra, the fire effects, fine. Like, I'm 100% fine with this happening. And we had been talking about this, and I had misunderstood something. And we were talking about the Red Ranger with the dragon shield and the cuffs. And you would say, yeah, and they're removable, so you could put them on other figures and stuff. And I'm like, that's great. Because previously it was only available as San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, which we both have. But again, this is good for other people, and it's good that it's removable. You can put it on Zach or whatever, whoever you want, And then, so we thought we were on the same page. Except then I was looking at the Green Ranger, and I thought it was weird. I'm like, okay, they're displaying him without the shield, but he has got the candle and like going. I'm like, he does not come with the shield at all. Bogus, just complete ridiculousness there. The fact that the Red Ranger comes with it is cool. The fact that it's removable is cool. The fact that the Green Ranger does not is terrible. It is just manipulative. It's just, that is the definition of like a money grab to me. What you do if you're trying to be there for the fans is you put it on the Green Ranger and have it be removable. Then you can take it off and put it on Red or put it on Zach or put it on whoever. And if somebody really wants to, they can get multiples of green. But now, because this is how it started, because I just said I have all of them. So I wasn't really planning on getting these except for green because I have the fighting spirit. I'm like, I'd like to get a regular one. He's got the cool, the fire. Green Ranger, I always like the dragon. That's one of my favorites. So, I'll go with that. And then like, well, no dragon shield. So now I have to buy Red, who I don't want. I have 2 Reds already. I don't need a third. And then take the dragon. So I have to, instead of spending $33.99 on a re-release, I have to spend $68, $68 essentially on one. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. If they go on clearance where I can get both figures for the price of one, that is the only instance where I'll get it. And this isn't like, I'm going to play the way. No, this is like spiteful. I'm pissed. This is not a good move. This is really cynical and money grabby, and I don't like it. I really don't like it. I think it's really crappy of them to do this. The end. Go ahead.
Of all of the things for them to do in this scenario, this doesn't really bother me.
Why?
Because prior to this, we had 2 versions of MMPR Green you could get. Prior to this, you had 1 standard release of Red. You had Metallic. You had, if you want to do some hokiness, you had the comic 2-pack where it was a female body.
You had the San Diego Comic-Con one.
And that's the thing. The San Diego Comic-Con is the only way you could get an armored Red Ranger before this.
Right.
So releasing it for that, I get the fact that they included everything needed to talk about the scenes that they're drawing, or the episodes that they're drawing from. I appreciate, because they could.
I appreciate that, and that justifies the higher price point for all of them. They all have extra things, and I think that's great. That justifies the higher price point, but it doesn't justify not giving the Dragon Shield to the Green Ranger. If it's a piece count thing, then take some of the extra pieces and put them in with the Red Ranger. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if the Red Ranger has the green candle, I still think that's dumb, but I could live with it. You know what I mean?
Now, people said they wanted a shieldless green. They're getting it. I don't know how many people that was.
Make it removable.
This is a re-release. This is what you're forgetting. It's a re-release. All of these are re-releases.
Yes, and they've heightened up the price, though. It's not like, it's a re-release, and so it's regular price or even cheaper. It's a re-release that they put a little extra work into, gave some more accessories, and then charged $9 more than the new price. $9 more than the new price. So these used to be $20 figures. They gave a few more accessories, changed the heads maybe, and it's now $14 more than when they released it the first time. How is it being a re-release a point in your favor? Being a re-release
because you don't have to get these to have a complete team.
Okay, pretend we don't have any of them, right?
Then you would get the 6 anyway.
No, not necessarily. Let's say you're new to collecting, you're not a completionist, you don't have a lot of money, you can't afford all of them. Maybe you're just a Green Ranger fan. There are a lot of people who would just buy Green Ranger. Are you going to tell me I'm wrong about that?
I'm not saying you're wrong about that, no.
Okay, and this is forcing them to get Red Ranger whether they want him or not, or have an incomplete Green Ranger.
They could have the old Green Ranger, they could have the 2-pack Green Ranger, or they could have this Green Ranger, or they could have all of them.
I don't know why you don't see this. Like, I understand what you're saying. Like, there's ways around it.
It's not ideal. I get it. Of all of the crummy things they could do, this I feel like is not that crummy.
What would be worse? Like, I mean, I don't mean killing your dog, but I mean, like, realistically, they're putting this set out. I feel like this is a crummy thing to do. And you're saying they could have done something worse.
If they made that Red a regular release and they released a single Red exactly how we're seeing it there as a Hascon exclusive. Or a Pulse exclusive.
Yeah, but Pulse exclusives, most of the time, not all, but most of the time, end up other places anyway, and are, like, with a few exceptions, are relatively.
You think that the only way to get that armor to go on a Green Ranger, you think that would be easy to get?
I don't think that what you're saying, I don't think is good. I still think that'd be a crummy thing to do, to be clear. But I feel like if you got the regular Green Ranger, well, no, because here's the thing. Okay, but you're saying it wouldn't be removable because I'm saying you have the removable set on the Green Ranger. You're saying it's on the Green Ranger, but it's not removable.
Oh, I was gonna say the only way to get all of the removable Dragon Shield accessories is on a exclusive figure.
Gotcha.
Like, I'm saying that red is regular, that Green Ranger is exactly how it is, and to get all these accessories, you have to get a Pulse exclusive figure.
That would be somewhat worse.
That would be the worst. The worst.
No, it would be somewhat worse because that would mean that you still could. Oh, wait. You're saying that the Green Ranger wouldn't have the shield either. Neither one would have a shield.
No, the only way to get the shield and the armbands would be from an exclusive.
That would be ridiculous, and that would be shooting themselves in the foot more than getting money. This is a way that it's a realistic way to get themselves more money, even though it's not exactly the best thing to do to the fans. The other thing is, for the real hardcore people, they've bought an extra Green Ranger and cut it off and put it on the character they wanted, Zach or Jason or whoever. So it is technically possible to do that, especially with the Fighting Spirit when that was going for cheap.
You can get third parties too.
Yeah, I don't. Do they have like vacuum chrome shiny third party ones?
Probably.
I would love that. Like the way it looked on the old figures.
Look it up on like Etsy or something.
I should do that. Okay. Your argument of like, hey, it could be worse. Sure. It still stinks.
On a scale of 1 to 10 of the most egregious things, in our opinions, that Hasbro has done as kind of a jab at fans in ways, I would give this like a 4. Maybe a 5 if you argued hard enough.
Here's my controversial take on that. I'm going to say it's an 8, and here's why. Because has it done things that were more money grabby or things that were a little bit, yes, it's done like objectively worse things, but this is so overt. Usually it's like, well, costs and this and that, and we tried this HasLab or this wouldn't, like, there was like plausible deniability and ways that maybe they were trying to do a good thing and it didn't work out. Oops, quality control wasn't like, but this is so like they made this decision. It's obvious. It's right there. They chose to do it this way. There's no hiding. And so that's why it bothers me more because it's just the boldness of it of like, what are you going to do about it? And what I'm going to do about it is not buy it, but okay. I know I'm in the minority,
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what it comes down to is a lot of the stuff is that for better or worse. But to me, and we've said this for the last however many years we've been talking about Lightning Collection. How long? 5 years now. Wow. But I think it's a thing where if the hard gripes that we've had, we as a fandom, are addressed, then some of these things aren't great, but they're a little more palatable. And then maybe it could help change in the right direction.
I mean, that's true. I guess it's just like, yeah, I mean, and I haven't looked to see, does anyone but me even care about this? Like, I haven't really looked.
No, there's other people that share your opinion.
Okay. And it is the blatantness of it. Because like when there's like incorrect boot colors or bad paint on a belt, like, yeah, that bothers me. But again, it's like, well, somebody slipped, somebody dropped the ball, somebody made a mistake, somebody didn't care that day at work. But it's just like the difference between like whoops and like F you. You know what I mean? Like,
to me, it seems like, and again, I'm not sure your opinion on this. I would rather have those things that aren't changeable not happen to begin with than have something that is a potential workaround like this happen. Like, I'm more fine with this than like all of SPD having all inconsistent things across the entire team.
In terms of like, you're objectively correct. Like that is the correct view for a collection because like those are not easily fixable. This is easily fixable if you spend the money. But again, it's like, again, I'm conceding your point, but still disagreeing because you're right. But the inconsistent paint, again, it's like different teams switched, things happened. It's like, it's crummy and I don't like it, but there's like plausibility of how they could be trying to do their best and still mess up. Or, somebody that doesn't work there anymore, made that mistake. This was a definite choice done in broad daylight,
To me, I guess I'm more, this sounds really bad out of context. I am more forgiving of the greedy plays than the
Mhm.
plays of negligence and ignorance.
And I'm not. I think that's the difference. I don't like any of it, but I can forgive negligence and ignorance more easily than I can just like money, like.
Well, to me now it's happened so many times, and they've addressed it. Like perfect example, Dino Thunder White. Like
Right.
that had so many people upset. They're like, we'll literally give you something for free now because we
Right.
goofed so bad.
Well, and they did. So,
Well, then they did it again with A Squad.
Oh yeah. Did they fix that? I don't remember.
Yeah, they same thing with White. They will send you a replacement head if you ask.
But if they're willing to do that, then that doesn't bother me. Like if they make a
That's the
mistake and
thing.
they make
There's
it right.
2 examples where they fixed a major problem. Every other major problem that we've talked about, they are like, I don't know what to tell you.
Okay, now I'll defend them a little bit because my understanding, limited though it may be, is that reprinting a head with a different paint job or whatever is a lot easier than like, oh, let me give you a whole new figure or a new lower torso or let's repaint those boots. Like a head swap is an easy fix, relatively speaking.
Measuring twice and cutting once is something that you need to plan for. And them saying, here's how I think we'll get money in this way. I'm like, yeah, because that puts the power in your hands as opposed to the power in their hands. If you don't want to buy it, you don't have to buy it. You're saying,
but
hey,
I know. But it literally was a thing where I was like, you know what? I kind of want that deluxe Green Ranger figure. And then like, no, I don't. And here's where they're shooting themselves in the foot. And I think you'll agree with this. I had no intentions on getting any of the remastered. And I was like, well, I'll just get green. Now, let's say green came out and had the shield and I got it. What do you think would happen? What do you think the chances are that I end up getting another one maybe on sale? And then, well, I've got 2. And then eventually I buy the whole team. There's a pretty good chance that would have happened, right?
I think you are in overall, I think your example is a minority and it will show once these are all released.
Okay. Maybe. But just to address my point, if I had gotten 1, and if other collectors like me who only plan on getting green got 1, don't you think there's a good chance that I and those other collectors would eventually just let's get the rest? And that's
you already made the example in my favor earlier where some people only collect green. They're going to get it either way. It doesn't matter. Other people you want to get if they collect one of the other colors and then they're like, I actually want the team now. The 6 Ranger people or especially the Tommy people, they'll die on that hill. That's fine. Hasbro can't change their mind. They just need to release it.
They're not going to get red.
Maybe they will. Maybe they got the extra money from the Tommy people who wouldn't have gotten red. Now they did. And really they're sticking it to the Tommy people and everybody else. They're like, be a completionist and don't be a little turd.
So on the record, anybody who's not a completionist is a little turd.
No,
that might be a hot take you want to take back.
I'll take part of it back. I have no problem with people having focus collections or finite collections or anything like that. But at the same time, dem to rules. And if this is the thing you're given, you buy it or don't.
Okay, man. All right. I feel like this is a management versus labor conversation.
Kind of, honestly. I don't know.
All right. Well, I think we're going to agree to disagree. We're not going to resolve it more than we have currently.
Yeah.
We're not friends anymore and the show's canceled. But we are coming up on a half hour of a rambling lightning collection. One other thing I wanted to mention that I don't really have anything to say about this other than, hey, did you hear this? That Mattel and Hasbro are going to do some kind of crossover team up. Have you heard this?
I did. Do you know specifically what they're doing?
I heard them say Transformers, Hot Wheels, Barbie, and something else I can't remember.
Yes. So the biggest one for us is that there are now going to be Hot Wheels of Transformers.
And that's interesting, but they're not going to transform, right? So they're going to be like Bumblebee or whatever, just in his solid form. That's cool, but I'm not going to be getting those.
I think in terms of crossovers, that's awesome. As somebody who's not probably getting any of them, I think that's great and phenomenal.
I think that makes perfect sense. I think that's great. I think some people are going to be very excited about it. I did for a minute think like, oh, are they going to take some Hot Wheels and turn them into Transformers? Because that would actually interest me a little more. I know Hot Wheels does a lot of like just these are cars that exist. Yeah. But I know it has those weird, like, look, it's a purple space car. Like if you took some of those famous popular ones, I don't know which ones.
That's the thing though. I think Hot Wheels is so deep, you don't have that. It's the opposite where Hot Wheels has so many different varieties. Look at that unique thing from another thing. We'll put it here. Like Hot Wheels doesn't have its own like thing as far as I can tell. But
there are diehard Hot Wheels collectors and probably tell us how we're wrong, but that is cool. Barbie, I remember years ago in the 90s, they had, I don't know if they were officially Barbie or just Barbie style. They had like yellow and pink Barbie Rangers.
They were Barbie style, yeah.
Okay. So I can see them doing that. Honestly, what I'd be interested in seeing is something crossing over with Masters of the Universe, like some Power Rangers Masters of the Universe.
That'd be cool.
Transformers Masters of the Universe. But there's also a lot of rumors that Mattel might be losing Masters of the Universe at the end of the year. So we might not see any crossovers with that.
From my understanding, the crossover products have already been mostly established, where it's going to be Transformers as Hot Wheels, Transformers themed Uno, Barbie themed Monopoly, and there's one other one that I don't remember.
The game crossovers I do not care at all about. Not that like I might want them, but it's like, all right.
It's not for us. None of that news was for us. Unless it's for something that, you know, is a fantasy thing that we made up just now. Everything that I read was these brands are teaming up for very specific items. And it's like, okay.
Right.
It's like going back to I don't know those of you who read comics, but there was a JLA Avengers comic in the mid 2000s, and it's like Marvel and DC are teaming up. Oh my gosh, for what? For a 4-issue comic. Anything else? No. Okay, like same kind of deal here. But but back to good Power Ranger stuff. Have you heard all of the comic news lately? Even though we're both a little bit behind.
I've only heard, there's been a bunch of comic news. I had it up, but I lost it now. The main thing I heard, and actually I heard this from George Jr. I forget what his, you know who I mean, George Jr. He and it was funny because, and he was so excited about this, and I'm not the Hyperforce fan he is. I can tell you that because I thought but Hyperforce is getting a comic.
There's a one-shot, yes.
There's a one-shot that it's being co-written by Hyperforce Pink, I forget her name. And I'm excited, and that's cool. But the way I came into it was like, and nothing against George Jr., obviously I watch his channel, but it was like, this is the greatest thing I've ever heard, and they're finally bringing it back, and I was like, oh my god, are we getting another season, or are they making an animated show? Are they going to show up in the new, like, and it was like, they're doing a comic, and I'm like, well, they've already kind of been in the comics, you know, I guess this is their first full comic, but okay. And so, yeah, it's cool. I'll probably get it. It's good news, but it's just the way it was introduced to me, it was like, this is going to be the best thing ever. Hyperforce live action's coming out or something. And then it was like, oh, it's a one-shot comic. All right, cool.
Yeah. There's that. There's Free Comic Book Day this year is a comic called Ranger Academy, which seems intriguing. And then I don't know if either of these are tied, but Amy Jo Johnson is co-writing a Power Rangers comic. I don't know if it's an ongoing or a miniseries, but it's more than a one-shot. And I'm down.
I'm trying to think. I want to be diplomatic.
You can say you don't care, and that's okay.
No, it's not even I don't care, because she might be a good writer. She does movies and stuff. So, like, you know, she
directs.
Well, I assume she might write. I know she directs. I assume she might write some of them too. And like, she's a songwriter. Like, so it's not even like she can't write. Like, she probably can write. And if it's about a Pink Ranger specifically, she's got insight to that. Like, I don't have an issue with her writing, and it might be good. I'm not excited about it. I don't want to say out of spite, because there's not spite involved, but it's
her being involved makes you like
the fact that she's not in the 30th special, but she is involved in this. I'm like, I don't care about the comic. Like, do the special. Now, before people like destroy me and want to defend her, I am not one of those people that was like ragging on her, and I never thought anybody should harass her. She's her own person. She can do whatever she wants. But if she wants to give the fans what they want and be part of the community, then do the special. The comic, and do the special, then do the comic. Fine. But I'm kind of like, and the way, you know, I'm dredging up what has been said, but it was like, I didn't like the offer they gave me. And she's walked that back, but it just sounded like it wasn't enough money, which is her right. And she doesn't deserve to be attacked for that. But in my heart, I'm like, man, I don't like that so much. Because even if it's true, you don't need to say it. And it felt like, oh, is she trying to make them pay her more? And then they didn't. But then it's like, but check out what is coming. And it's like, oh, a comic. It's similar to the Hyperforce thing, where it was like, this is going to be great. It's like, oh, it's just a comic, And so it's like, if she had said that and then she showed up in like the second movie or in Cosmic Fury or like a one-shot movie about her, great. But it's sort of like, I don't know. It's just like, oh, sorry, guys, I'm not going to be in the movie because I don't want to wear spandex at 50 and they didn't give me enough money. I'm paraphrasing. She didn't literally say these things. Well, she did say the thing about spandex, but guess what? Here comes a comic and buy that and I'll get a piece of that action. I'm not saying I won't buy it. I'm not saying I won't read it necessarily, but I'm just not excited. If it came out a year ago, I'd be more excited. If it came out a few years from now, I'd be more excited. But right now, it'd be the same if Austin St. John might not have been allowed to participate because of his legal stuff. But like, I don't know. I'm not excited for that reason. And please, I like Amy Jo Johnson. I don't want anybody to attack her, and please don't attack me for just not having this opinion. But it just like doesn't feel right to me.
To me, I am excited that someone from the franchise directly is involved from a creative perspective.
Right.
But I'm also the next part of my excitement, I think, outweighs the former, is that like I'm just glad there's multiple Ranger things now in the comics.
I agree with that. I do agree with that. And I wish I could remember her name. That does Hyperforce Pink. Her like screen name was like Strawberry something, but that's like not her real name. And I'm more excited about her writing that comic, even though, and here's the thing, I'm very excited for the Hyperforce comic. Like, I know it seems like I'm not. It was just like, I thought we were getting live action or something bigger. I am more excited for her writing it. I'm excited, again, somebody from the world, because she's sort of like on the outside and she's getting more involved. Like, whereas I feel like Amy Jo's always kind of kept everything at, which she's allowed to, and that's fine. So like, okay, she's dipping her toe in, but like for the money, I don't know, whereas I feel like Hyperforce Pink actress it feels more genuine to me. And she, Hyperforce, for those that don't know, was sort of like an improv RPG game. So she was writing constantly. Every time she was talking, she was like making up her own lines, and she did a lot of funny, weird stuff. So I'm like, I can also already imagine what that story is going to be. You know what I mean? And, Amy Jo might blow my mind with a great story and make me forget everything I said, but it's bad timing.
Yeah, I think the timing is unfortunate on your side because she's not in the special, not necessarily because of Rangers in general. Because right now, I mean, Once and Always, I don't know where it's at now, but it the highest it got last I heard was number 3 on all of Netflix.
Right, that's pretty good. That's
like everything, which is amazing. That's great.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it keeps it up because again, we want more stuff from it. We want any kind of continuation. Ranger stuff is good stuff.
Agreed.
In my book. Yeah. So hoping the best there.
We can complain about the multitudes of figures and shows and comics that are coming out is all good things, and I'm generally happy about things. But this was the we were arguing and debating about these things, and so we're like, let's just record it. But we are at about 40 something minutes, so I think we should wrap up. Mystic Force will be back either next week or the week after at the latest. We got a comic review. I'm not sure when that's going up, but this is this week. Until then, I've been Gazbot.
I am still the big dog.
And
to the power. Ooh.
That wasn't a mistake. I did the explosion on purpose at the end because in the beginning I messed it up.
Nice. Okay. Oh, that works at least. Yeah, I think right now a reason they brought up the Amy Jo thing was the Kickstarter's going on for another 2 days for the oversized, crazy deluxe collected editions of Ranger stuff.
Right.
And one of the Kickstarter goals that they're like 20K away from is an 8-page like short story that she and whoever her co-writer is doing that's going to be included in one of those, which I thought was kind of cool.
I don't care.
Yeah.